forgot my name for a minute.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I'm an alcoholic. I love this man. He is a wonderful husband for the last 8 years. I give you Chris Lee.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Lee. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. I come in here, my sobriety date is June 14, 2017. I was broken when I come in. I come off the street. I was homeless. So I'm here tonight to tell how it was and how it is now. I was born in 1978 in Montgomery, Alabama. A lot of people say that's what's wrong with me. But I only lived in Alabama 1 year. My dad was from Alabama, mom from College Park. My mom said, ain't no way you live in Alabama, so I lived in College Park till I was about 5 years old. I lived in Old Nashville, but I grew up in Jonesboro. Had a good childhood. My dad was an alcoholic and a hippie. I mean, pot smoke in my house was normal. That was what it was. Alcohol and weed, you know what I'm saying? And so at a young age, I thought that was normal. My dad, he would pass out drunk from a young age. He would say, go get me a beer, and I would go get the beer, and I'd crack the top, take a swig. He'd never say nothing, like I never caught a buzz at a young age. As I was getting older, by the time I was 12 years old, I was already sneaking in the liquor cabinet. Like, that was a liquor cabinet in our house. My mom drank 2 free tequila, so I could always pour a little water in there and get away with it, catch a buzz, like my family's alcoholics. My mom had 3 other sisters and brothers. My dad he was the youngest of 12 kids. So they were all alcoholics, pretty much. Well, my dad, I always struggled in school with my reading. I had dyslexia, and I was always pushed in the learning disability class. So I always felt like I was not a part of, like I was slower or not right in school. So I always wanted to hang out on the street, so I would never stay in the house, wouldn't stay in school. I really never get an education. My mom kind of she was, partying. My dad, at a young age, my dad died at 86. So it crushed me, as a little boy. And I didn't understand, I couldn't understand death, like I was young. And that's who I looked up to. My dad was everything to me. My mom ended up remarrying. And then, I was all boy. I stayed outside, from a young age. I rode motorcycles, a lot of dirt bikes. I had BMX, But back in them days, we don't have cell phones. We had to make money. We pushed a lawnmower around the neighborhood to make a little money, do something in somebody's yard. So the older guys in the neighborhood, they'd always buy the alcohol for us. So pretty much every weekend, we were getting drunk from 12 to forever, so pretty much, and as long as that kept going, So, as I got older, I started experiencing other things, like I started smoking pot in 6th grade. I started doing LSD pretty young. Then during those times, I really just was trying to figure things out. I was just having fun. By the time I was 18 years old, I started doing cocaine a good bit. That was around the early 90s. So, that I think everybody was doing it. But but anyway, so I seen I was 18 years old. I seen all these kids. Back in them days, we come out of the house. We had everything ironed and fresh. You come out of the house, your shoes all look good. All these other boys in the neighborhood, they were driving new cars. They were doing it. They had kids. They weren't working. And I had no future. I had no direction. I had no education. So I was I didn't know any other thing. I didn't know what to do. I was just trying to make $1. So I was yeah, they look good. They doing good. So I kept going. I was getting a little bit for this person. And next thing I know, me and my mom were doing it. So me and my mom did it together. So our house, pretty much was just pretty much a trap house. Pretty much it was just run, do whatever. So I never had a chance to escape from it. How a lot of people, I see my friends, they be going home and sleeping and, and getting away from this and that. Well, it was in my house. My mom was using it, I started doing meth. I did meth 20 years probably. I had my first baby. I had my first baby when I was 20. And I remember the first time I ever seen her when she was born. I thought to myself, I was man, I can stop this. I can do this for her. I was wrong because I was completely powerless. I remember the first time I realized that I had a problem was whenever I would do it. I couldn't do it during the day at my house because these people, the person who was giving it to me would come to my house. They couldn't see me like that, so they'd be it was kind of I would do it at night, I would do it, with a couple of people at night because, like, during the day I couldn't make no money on it. So I realized, man, when I started doing it at night, I couldn't quit doing it. Like, I was completely powerless, and I was paranoid. I was such a paranoid person, y'all. I was mean to everybody as long as I was sober, I was good to my loved ones, and you know, she could tell you she'd been through it with me. So I was just really paranoid. I lived in fear. I was still a kid in a young man's body. I lived in fear. I didn't know how to live really, and how to function and treat people right. So that went on for a while, and I had my first baby, and I was married before. I was with another woman, and for a long time, you know, like I accused her. I did accuse her, but it was her fault. It was always her fault. That's why we separated. It was all her fault. But then after I got sober, and I started looking back, like years ago, how all this started, because I never really noticed it till I come in the program. I didn't notice how it really was, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of like living life. Well, I realized, man, that I pushed her to that, to leave me and do the things that she was doing. I was the one that caused that, you know. So then I had my son. I had a son by her in 2003. And in 2003, I actually moved away from the city and moved to the country. And when I got to the country, I met these guys, man, that had a grading company. So I never had a job. So these guys, they taught me ins and outs of grading. I actually learned how to run a piece of equipment. And it just worked for me. That was how I made a living, and that's how I make a living today too. But I could never hold a job down. So me and her ended up separating, and had two older kids by my ex-wife, and I met my wife in 2007. In 2006, I was on the way to work, and I've been partying all night, and I got in a bad car accident. So I had to have surgery on my shoulder. So I was up in Lakewood, and I was up there getting something, I shouldn't have been up there. But a girl walked up to me one day and said, "Hey, I see you guys, your arm in a sling. I got a doctor you can go to." She's like, "I got a doctor you can go to. You just put my name down. It takes $50 off my visit." I'm like, "That's cool." She said, they'll write you whatever you want. So I go in there. I write down 120 Roxy 30s, 90 lower tabs, and 90 bars. They gave me every bit of it. I walked out there, had insurance, but $5 for all of it. $5. So at the time, I done got a divorce, and I had child support. So I had $500 child support, and I was kind of struggling. I was trying to pay bills. Well, that was my little way out to make a little money. But then I never did opiates. I always did uppers. So one day I tried a half, and I remember that making my nose, and I felt nauseous. I didn't like it. But I remember on the other stuff, I couldn't treat nobody good, and I couldn't act right because my head, my brain, I done lost it. I couldn't be on no upper no more. I wasn't that person to be around no more. So I was a drug addict, so I completely went to something else. Well, before I knew it, I was going to 3 doctors a month, and my wife was taking 2 people to the doctor. So we were getting probably anywhere between 400 Roxy 30s a month. But we ended up losing our child. We signed our daughter over. We had a daughter in 2008 together. So she was a year old. And we signed her over to her dad. We made a decision because we couldn't do it. Well, when I was doing 13 30s a day. I know I ain't supposed to be talking about drugs like this, but I'm just putting it out there because I want y'all to know what I was doing and how bad it really got. You know what I mean? So one night my buddy was in town from Indiana, and he was like, "Can you get me some heroin or whatever?" So I'm up on Campbellton Road, and it was in 2010. That night I made a decision that was going to ruin my life. And I put a needle on my arm. And from that point on, all hands down, I lost all respect for myself, my kids, and everything I had. I kind of just lost it. I was lost. I mean, if it didn't go in the needle, I didn't do it. I lived out of my car. We both lived out of our car, and I was making doctors. And I remember, during that time, I was right before actually 2010. I was working for C.W. Matthews, a grading company. I've been there. I was there for 5 years. I cannot tell you how I kept a job. I don't know if the foreman loved me. But anyways, I couldn't, when I was sick, I couldn't go to work because I was coming off the medication. I was having withdrawals. I couldn't make it to work. My buddy was like, hey, go to this doctor, man, and they'll give you this medicine where you won't be sick no more. Where it's Suboxone. So I go to this drug specialist and I go in there and I pee in a cup. And I'm sitting there and he comes back in there and he says, sir, I'm going to prescribe this medicine to you. But this ain't going to save your life. You got everything on the street in your system. He said, you need a 12-step program. I'm like, what's a 12-step program? What's the 12-step program? Like, I never heard anything about it. All I saw was like rehabs on TV where it's all like locked up in a place or something. That's what I thought rehab was about. And then, so I ended up taking the medicine, but I just used it for a shoulder to lean on. I wasn't taking it like I was supposed to take it. And but I didn't know for a little bit longer, I ended up catching a burglary charge in 2013. So it was my first time. So I was either go to RSAP or go to rehab, and I ended up going to rehab. And at that point, I had to be there 12 months. And at that point, I actually planted a seed. Like I knew I could. It showed me that I could stay sober. I've never been sober like that. That I could be sober and I actually was finding friends and really seeing love from other people and being there. It really planted a seed for me. And I was like, man. So I got out of rehab and I got my daughter back. I got back in my kid's life. I got a job, got the house, got the car. I thought it was a good idea to drink again. I never made him. I left him up here, moved back to the south side, never made him eating again. And it was around Fireball when Fireball come out. I thought, man, that's a great idea. Let's have a little Fireball. Let's have a little taste of Fireball, y'all. Yeah, it really went south real quick. Before I knew it, I was right back doing the same thing I was doing again. And the hardest time is I signed my daughter over. So then I promised her she had her own room. I said, I remember telling her that'll never happen again. You're always gonna be with us. It's heartbreaking to even talk about it. So she had her own room and everything. And I just pissed it away. It would start out like a snowball effect. Power getting turned off. I remember when she said, well, when are we going to turn the cable back on? Well, she didn't know I didn't have rent money because I didn't spend all of it. She was a little girl. She didn't understand. So DFAX got called. So then I lost her again. This time around, there was no more doctor. That was done. All that was over. We lost the first car. We lost the second car. We lost the house. Me and my wife stayed on the street with no phones or nothing. We stayed on the street for a whole year. We slept under a bridge. We had a little shanty built in Union City off 138. We lived under that bridge for a whole year. All the way from summer, all the way through winter to summer. The only thing we knew to do, the only thing we knew, I remember being out there, I thought I was never going to come back from that. I remember when people would hand me the money out the car when I was panhandling. I remember people smelling good. I thought that I was never going to, you know what I mean? How I felt. And I remember not showering. I remember on morning when people, I smelled because they would move away. And that was, I was like, man, that's horrible, but that was the life I lived. That's how powerless I was. I went to detox 4 times in 1 year, 3 times. Every time it would rain or I'd be struggling, I'd be sick on the street, I wouldn't have no money, and I'd call my family and be like, hey, can y'all help me out? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this thing. Every time I get out of it, I'll be feeling good. I come right out of there every time. I thought I could do it one more time. That one more time, I stretched it out for about 3 more months. And then finally one day, I'm on the street, and Matt's wife comes out there, and Matt's wife comes out there with my daughter, my oldest daughter, and I weighed about 150 pounds. And they actually took pictures. They got pictures of it. They got pictures of us under the bridge and that. She's like, when you want some help, you call me, and I'm gonna come pick both of y'all up. I'll wash y'all clothes, I'll take y'all to detox, and I'll take y'all to rehab. And I don't know if she just wants some more child support, or Because I was so far behind child support, man, I was 30 grand in the hole when I got sober. Now I owe it $5,000, so I've been doing something right. Man, she done got all that money back. But you know what, man? She's a good woman. God was working through her. She's not really a godly woman, but, you know, like, she was there, and she not only picked me up, she picked my wife up. Sat there with me the whole time at St. Jude's, and that was the best detox I've ever been to. That was a really good place. I remember sitting there one day. I had to sit there all day sit at that place, and I said, "No, I ain't sitting here. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna be sick. I'm like, you're gonna take me right there to the bluff, and I'm gonna get something." And she took me right over to the trap too, right in the bluff, and I got what I wanted. And I think she wanted to see me do it, and I'm like, but at the time, that's crazy. Like, it was so normalized. Like, for me, that was normalized. Like, who does? Like, is that normal? Like, I think back to that, like, I was carrying them in my pocket like it was a cigarette or something. You know, it was that bad, and I was that powerless. You know, like, it was just a normal thing for me to be out there like that. And the reason I got sober was because it was cold one day, and I was on the street. When I was out there, we ended up going into a hotel stairway, and we had a syringe on us, and the rookie cop, normally they would just throw it away and say, go. But that day, that rookie cop gave me a charge, prowling and possession of a paraphernalia. And man, I remember when I was doing my fourth step, I had resentment toward him. Man, I'm like, man, that man, he done messed me up, man. I called it, you know, like it was like I was mad at him. But then, you know, like after writing it down and looking, I'm like, that man saved my life, because I caught like a little misdemeanor, and I would have never because I couldn't hold a sign. Like, it was before COVID, so if you were homeless before COVID, you could only fly a sign in certain places. So, like, once I caught the charge, I had a warrant. I couldn't do probation. So I was like ducking and diving every time a cop would pull up on the ramp. Like, but I ended up. That's why I got sober. I went in front of the judge, 17, and I told him. He said, just give him 90 days. I said, no, I can't do 90 days. I said, I need a year in a rehab. I need to be court ordered in a rehab. 90 days, I'm going to go right back on the street. I said, I'm a drug addict. I can't, 90 days ain't going to help me. I knew, because from 2013, I knew how I stayed sober, and I knew that I could come back if I could just get back. And once I got back, man, I was at one step over here. I got court ordered for 14 months. I was there. And it was great, man. It was, I remember the blessings, man, started coming. I remember just like feeling like when I come off the street, how great it felt, man, just to wash my clothes and take a shower in the same day. And I remember like it was so crazy, and people like really think it's crazy, but like that, when I first went to the program, like being in that comfortable bed and like room, like I couldn't sleep at first. And then they would take us to the labor pool. At like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd be over there at 5 o'clock, lay down on the concrete. Y'all, as soon as I lay down on the concrete, I fall asleep. Because I was so used to hearing cars. I guess I was so used to being outside. It was like, and like, you know, another thing, man, it was like, you know, when you're out there in the street like that, you actually have to learn how to live around people again, because you don't know how to act at all. Like, you really get like out of pocket about things. And now, today, man, I have my kids back in my life, and you know, thank God for my home group. Sobriety First at Biscayne. I've been going there 8 years. You know, I have my kids in my life. I got my daughter back. She has her own room. So I got 8 years sober. And the things that I want to share, you know, that's really important to me is I lived in chaos in my mind. Like, I don't know. My mind was not right. Like, I treated all my loved ones horrible. Like, I don't know how she stayed with me. There must be something good when I'm sober, because I was horrible, you know, as a person. And but today, man, I actually just been living in my house. I just bought a house. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Yeah. And you know, and we put a good lump sum of money down, and you know, like. You know, it's so this program is so blessing. Like I've had the same cell phone number. The whole cell phone number. Who does that? I ain't never had the same cell phone number, y'all, for 8 years. That's crazy. Now, who does that? You know what I mean? That's unheard of, And I have this little dog. People laugh at me about this, but, like, I have a peace of mind today. Like, I never could sit on the couch. I couldn't sit on the couch through my whole life. Like, I was always running, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this. Now, I have this little wiener dog, a long-haired wiener dog, and she's everything, man. She's like I could just pet her and be in my own little, like I can be in peace. This program has helped me so much in my mind. Like just being around people and being, having a spiritual, having a godly understanding would like really help me out a lot. And I still have problems. I'm not the greatest person. I'm not saying this program has just made me perfect. But the thing that this program has really helped me with is I recognize when I'm in the wrong. Like through my life, I could easily cuss you out and like not even think that I was in the wrong. Now if I say something to somebody out of the way or I get pissed off, I'm always the one. I'll go back and apologize. It's really taught me to be respectful. Sometimes I apologize when they're in the wrong. I think. I just do it just because I want my side of the street to be good. You know what I mean? Like if I apologize, I'm good. Like but that's I don't know. But I've had the same job and I have a good life. Everything that I've been through, I don't beat myself up for it because it's who made me who I am today. Like if I would have been through all that stuff, like I see people, like I got family members like my sister. She don't have no problem with drugs or alcohol or nothing. She has no money. I'm like, she spends all her money on lotto and like she's so unhappy. And I'm like, man, if you just had the program or Al-Anon or something, because like this program has showed me like another life. Like I see normal people. Like me sponsoring other people has really helped me out. Like it's really showed me. And before COVID, our program on our side, like Biscayne was like really, really busy during COVID. Before COVID. And I remember coming in and like seeing other people. We have like 100 years of sobriety over there. Like some of our people that it's got like 40 and 50 years, 35 years, stuff like that. And I remember coming in. I'm like, and Rosemary. I don't know y'all know Rosemary, but she was my first sponsor. And like she was great. And I remember her telling me that she had like 32 years or something. And I'm like, I had like a week sober. I told her, I said, man, I had 35 years. I had a place and getting a check every month. I go get me a bottle of liquor. She said, you in the right place. I went at my mind. I was like, damn, you had 35 years. It's time to drink. But now today I know that today I have the ability to know that times in my life, even when it's hard, like it's so crazy how this program has gave me the ability, like it completely removed it from my life. Like I don't think about drinking. I don't think about using. Like it's I don't know. It's so crazy how God works, And I didn't have like really when I come in here. I found God through y'all. Like y'all's spirit gave me God. Like at first, like I had this God that I prayed to when the cops pulled me over. You know what I mean? Or like something like that. Or I was in a real tight. I would pray, but. Like I remember like seeing people smiling and like shaking their hand and giving them a hug, and it showed me the ability to, like it showed me a godly understanding that we get in these rooms, and it's just been really special to me, and that's all I got, guys.
Thank you so much, Chris. I was doing meetings at the halfway house that he went to. Dude, when he came in, he was batshit crazy. I mean, half the size. He was it's amazing. Yeah. It just gets better to be able to watch somebody come in from the streets, go to rehab, and then he got an apartment at a friend's house. And then they got another apartment. They got custody of their kids back. Now he's got a house. It's unbelievable, some of the stuff, and it's because of this program.
First I slept, and then I crept to a hope-filled dream. You rescued It's just what we need on a broad highway, stride for stride, we walk eternally. Look into those windows for a heart that beats for me. Takes me where the promises are real. And I always long for something that